So in developing the strategy, which I know Ruth will touch on here a little bit more in detail, before we got there, we really wanted to hear from the people who mattered most to understand what was most meaningful for them in terms of content on the career side. So we surveyed both our internal team members and our prospective candidates and brand new team members who are ultimately the ones looking at our site to really understand how can we create better engagement throughout the user's journey. Based on those results, there were a few key topics that stood out that were most meaningful and what candidates and team members wanted to see, which were sustainability, innovation. They wanted to get a better sense of who we are in terms of the values and the culture that we have here at Hilti, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then obviously understanding what are the different career offerings that we have here at Hilti. It was important for us to be able to articulate those key themes across the career site in a really clear, simple, and authentic way that resonated, again, really with all of our different audiences, whether that was our external prospective candidates or even our internal team members as they are today.
Great. So I'll just take you, I guess, into the how-to, the process we went through, and hopefully this will give some useful tips for anyone looking to do similar. So when we looked at the, let's say, the strategy, the whole content process, how did we get from this idea and how did we get from the needs that Hilti and Hilti had that Monica just outlined through to something practical? So really, we started off with content strategy. I always start with strategy first, and that's really kind of pinpointing the brief. So what do we need to say and how do we go about solving it? As we took into concepting, then that kind of brought to life how this could look, how it could feel. Obviously, that went through substantial refinement and collaboration with the Hilti team, and that included kind of storyboarding, script writing, and so on. We then started production, and as you'll see in a little bit, production for this was quite large. We wanted to make sure that we were able to tell the Hilti story suitably at a global level, and get all the voices and the stories in that we needed. So it wasn't good enough to just rock up in Liechtenstein for a day and get the Liechtenstein perspective, even though it is kind of the home of Hilti, but actually we needed to make sure that we captured people's stories from around the world. So there was substantial pre-production planning, production, which is actually shooting and producing the content, and then that post-production of reviewing and editing. So this is the kind of step-by-step, and I'll take you through in more detail.